Death by drowning. That was the official diagnosis that would solve the mystery of the disappearance of Michael Rockefeller, son of the governor of the state of New York, Nelson Rockefeller, and an anthropologist with a degree in history and economics from Harvard University. Michael Rockefeller, born on May 18, 1938 into a wealthy family, was always interested in the cultures and civilizations of the world, moving away from the political and economic path that corresponded to him as a Rockefeller. His passion for ethnography and anthropology led him to search for tribes in northern Australia, in the region of the island of New Guinea. His contact with other cultures was documented in photographs and instruments that the young Michael obtained, and were destined for the Museum of Primitive Art, founded in 1957 by his father. However, it was his desire for adventure in uncharted places that also cost him his life. On November 17, 1961, the 23-year-old was sailing on his catamaran, a small boat, together with the Dutch anthropologist Rene Wassing and 2 local guides. It was an expedition that would take them to the Arts Village, where Rockefeller would do more research. Due to the conditions of the dangerous Arafura Sea, west of Papua, the catamaran capsized, leaving its passengers adrift. The 2 guides decided to get out of the boat to look for help, while Wassing and Rockefeller stayed on the catamaran, which could no longer reach the coast on its own. But after 2 days of waiting with no sign of help, young Michael felt it was time to take charge. Carrying a makeshift life preserver made from 2 jerry cans of gasoline, he jumped into the water, leaving Wassing to wait. Just hours later, the Dutchman was rescued by the 2 guides who returned with help, and although they searched for Michael Rockefeller, his body was nowhere to be found. The main theories established that the young man most likely had drowned on his way to the coast, or had succumbed to a shark or crocodile that chewed the cud in the waters. The drowning was accepted by his father, who arrived days later with a search team, and by his twin sister, Mary Rockefeller. However, another much more terrifying hypothesis was forming around the Rockefeller case. The island near which they were found was inhabited by the Asmat tribe, whose traditions of cannibalism were investigated by journalist Carl Hoffman and explained in his book, Savage Harvest: A Tale of Cannibals, Colonialism, and Michael Rockefeller's Tragic Quest for Primitive Art. Wild Harvest: A History of Cannibals, Colonialism, and Michael Rockefeller's Tragic Quest for Primitive Art. The history of the Asmat is full of violence. Their cannibalistic practices had religious motives, and one of their most sacred traditions was the balance of the tribe. Years before, Dutchmen had murdered members of the Asmat tribe, so Michael's murder was for them a well-deserved revenge. In his book, Hoffman collects the testimony of Tobias Schneebaum, an anthropologist who had lived with the tribe, and he comments that several members of the tribe confessed to having eaten Michael Rockefeller after the young castaway had appeared in his beach. A private detective, hired by Michael's mother, returned from Papua New Guinea with 3 skulls from victims of his cannibalistic rituals. It was rumored that one of those skulls was Rockefeller's, but that theory was never proven. The official version was death by drowning. The photographs and items obtained by Michael Rockefeller went on display at the Metropolitan Museum of Art in New York in 1974, after the Museum of Primitive Art closed. That same year his father, Nelson Rockefeller, became Vice President of the United States in the Gerald Ford administration. Sinister, huh? If you liked the video, please share it, don't forget to comment. And please watch us here at Creeporium. Have a good night.